Consider this your trigger warning. The following program is strictly satire and is not meant to be taken seriously. So don't get all butthurt, you liberal snowflakes, just because we skewer your sacred cows and expose all your lies and hypocrisy. Truth hurts, and so does satire. So grab a drink, pull up a chair, and enjoy the show.
It's that time of the week, folks. It is Sunday Night Live. This is The Zoo, and we are here 6 p.m. Eastern Time to 8 p.m. Eastern Time, or even later, depending on what we do, what we talk about, well, how excited we are to talk about it. What started off as a rather slow weekend really picked up some steam as we went. But I want to start off with this. Number one, thank you to everyone who has done private donations through PayPal, Venmo, CashApp during the week. And tonight, you want to be on the screen here, have your comments, your thoughts, your opinions, your predictions, your observations. You just have to hit that super chat button right up there or down in the description. We've got an address to our fundraising venues, right? Venmo, CashApp, PayPal. Because that's how we keep the show going, is you guys, you guerrilla fund this. We don't rely on advertising from social media. There's no corporations here. There's no politicians with 2 or hell, 3 or 4 fingers in my posterior working me like a puppet. This is me, John. And now that we've got to that part, who I am, we know who you are, your patriots. Your veterans, your sportsmen, your Americans, your constitutionalists. We've had everything from surgeons to lawyers who practice at the Supreme Court level, oral arguments. Some great mixed martial artists, manufacturers, normal people, hardworking people. Everybody is here. It is not just some radical fringe group of veterans who just have lost their fucking minds. That's not what this show is. We're not a bunch of, college dropouts. We're not a bunch of college effete fucking snobs. We're just a good mix of American people. Hardworking, no doubt. Tax-paying, you bet. From the great Northwest, all the way down into southern Florida, all the way up into Maine, and of course in California, Hawaii, Denmark, Australia, even Tasmania is checked in. That's Peter down there. Then, of course, we've got Ireland, Scotland, and jolly old England. We've got people all around the country, all around the world, and this is a great show. So I want to start off by saying, hey, look, I identify. I have an identification for myself. And since we have to accept what people identify as, I identify as a person who is absolutely the most correct expert in every single topic, never wrong, and cannot be argued with. Why do I say that? Because we are not allowed to argue with people who identify as women when they are really men. So no. Then I get to identify who I am and set the parameters of acceptance. That's, here we go. With that in mind, I think we ought to roll on to, let's do Darcy T, who wants to check in. And she's got a nice super chat that she wants to kick the show off. There it is. It's a $50 PayPal. Thank you. And oh, yes, Mr. Uman is here as the moderator in chief. Your comments. If you want to comment, you've got to be here 5 minutes as a subscriber. If you want to get on the screen here, pow, super chat button. And this is a $50 PayPal shot of 18-year Glenfiddich single malt Scotch whiskey. Last night, I went to a Christmas party. I did 10 shots, 5 doubles of Scotch, 3 Jello shots that were heavy tequila, and let's see, a can of some sort of citrus beer that was in the beer pong game. In any event, it was it was a flip cup. A heck of a night. So I'm ready to go tonight. I'm all warmed up, Darcy. Let's do it. Woo! And I'm going to read it. Darcy says, I have a comment more than a question for tonight's zoo. And this is what she has to write. She says, I am seeing more terrorist attacks abroad and at home against various groups. I guess we'll be seeing more freedom-killing legislation coming our way soon. Oh, yes. Yes, indeed, folks. Darcy, we are not getting it just nationally. We're getting it internationally. And not just for America, but for the whole world. We have some incredible bullshit going on. I'm calling bullshit. I'm calling false flag everywhere. Everywhere. I tell you, I mean, it's at first I thought it was surprising. But then I was like, well, this is how this game is played. This is how they do it. This is what they want. Good golly. I've got this answer right here for Darcy. At Brown University, Rhode Island, there's not one, but 2 students who survived and are also connected to 2 other well-known mass shootings. What a coincidence, huh? I love coincidences. These 2 students that survived 2 other well-known mass shootings. Let's start with this. I want you to listen to the name. Zoe Weissman was allegedly a survivor at the Parkland school shooting. Oh, how interesting is that? She just happens to be at Brown, huh? And then we have Mia Tretta, who is hardcore, anti-Second Amendment, hates guns, and is an activist, and just happened to be there at Brown University. And guess what? They didn't just get shocked and scared and, oh my God, and the camera saw them. Well, we see you. No. They are already on CNN and MS, NBC, DNC, pushing their gun control agenda, Darcy. Have no fear. Yeah, it's them, and they are here. Zoe Weissman, Mia Tretta, both are on mainstream media. They are alleged, quote, repeat survivors. Whoa, what are the odds? Kind of like the guy who on the streets of New York City, man on the street, gets just miraculously stopped by a camera person during the 9/11 event. And he happened to give us the mainstream, what later was given to us as the mainstream explanation for how 2, not 1, but 2 massive American steel reinforced concrete skyscrapers were brought down by aluminum cans full of jet fuel that burns at 800 degrees when it actually takes a couple thousand degrees. And those buildings were designed, created, engineered, manufactured, built on site to withstand direct impacts, not impacts from airplanes. That's why, they're saying, if you're going to build it that high, it's got to withstand it. Well, here we are. That guy just happened to be in Los Angeles. The same guy who said, oh, that plane just reamed into the building and it caught fire. And it was so much heat that the structure couldn't support the weight and it collapsed. Same bullshit story. Then we've got him showing up in LA when 2 radical Islamists decided they're going to shoot up the airport there. He just happened to be there. What a coincidence. What a coincidence. And we also have people who I will call crisis actors who show up at what? Sandy Hook. Just happens to also be a Boston bombing. There are many people who show up at multiple false flag events, right? So anyways, these 2 repeat survivors of mass shootings, they're they're years apart from one another, still manage to show up in the college. This stinks to high heaven as usual. I'm sure more research is going to reveal who is funding and paying for little Mia and Zoe to run around and just happen to get caught in these sorts of problems. I wonder who funds them. I wonder what their religious identity is. It's time to wake up, world. Time to take the red pill. Time to take the black pill. Either we wake up and act, or we're going to sleep to our deaths. Thank you, Darcy T. There's going to be more on these topics because we've got a lot of different things happening. This weekend started a bit slow. Then we got Brown University, and then we got in Australia. We got a little incident there. And you, when we get to it, are really going to enjoy the shit out of that. All right. But before we get to that, I want to thank everyone for showing up. We've got 200 people live. Hit the thumbs up. Make sure you're a subscriber so you can comment in the comment section. And if you want to get on the screen, PayPal button, or I'm sorry, Super Chat button there, PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App down below. So we're going to do some chin music. Oh, good golly. Chin music doing a $52.23 Venmo. And guess what? It's going to help make it a Merry Christmas. We're not going to shut the show down. We're going to keep the lights on and keep broadcasting. Thank you, Chin Music. Keep broadcasting from the basement. So, there's the Chin. Thank you, sir. Merry Christmas to you. Thank you and Merry Christmas to one and all for being here on the Prepared Mind channel in this holiday season that we have hearts full of love, kindness, forgiveness, and holiday cheer while our enemies seek to destroy us, steal from us, and control us. Down the hatch, Semper Fi, Prost, cheers, salute, and nothing but the best. Oh, God, smooth. Okay. And please, share the internet address with friends, family, loved ones, coworkers, everyone. Hell, even send it to your enemies, people you don't like, so I can piss them off for you. So what we've got is we got Chin Music, and I've met the man twice, spent time with him. He's genuine. He's real. He's not a fuckhead, right? He's also happens to be a bodybuilder and a martial art expert. But he wrote to me, he says, hey, look, when fatigue becomes exhaustion. So he's sharing a personal story. And I'm going to read it. And he says, so I'm at the gym the other day doing my thing. It's a private gym, but does allow day passes for visitors. I'm waiting on a machine and some clown is on his phone wasting time. And I was told by one of my member friends he's been doing it all day and wouldn't move when asked. So I asked him in gentle Texas fashion if he was done texting his boyfriend. He had a headscarf on. I asked him if he was done texting his boyfriend so I could get busy doing something useful. His response was predictable. Here's the other guy's response. You're not the first person to be rude in here. You don't like me for no reason. Typical victimhood bullshit. I told him, quote, don't take it personal. I'm not too fond of people in general, so it has nothing to do with the fact you hate taking showers. I prefer dogs. My only regret is that I didn't have my buddy tape the interaction. I would have loved that. The look on his face as he was processing what I said was epic. Chin continues. I was hearing old America Online dial-up in the background while he was staring at me, right? Waiting for him to make connection. Beep, bing, 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 bing. Anyways, it must have been some funny shit. He says, I thought he might give it a go. I was hoping, meaning Dukes. But he grabbed his shit, took a picture of the sign, and promised to cream the gym on social media. I'm so tired of all this bullshit. I'm just done. The last sentence, I'm so tired of all this bullshit. I'm just done. I get it. I fucking absolutely get it. I'm done with it. Right? The problem we have is if we are done and we do something about it, whatever that something is, whatever form or fashion it takes, will you be punished? Thrown in jail? Will you be revealed publicly and shit on and destroyed? Will you lose your job, your house, your relationships? Because you're done and you're tired of being a victim to these people who victimize all of us. And then they pretend to be victims and scream and yell and lay on the ground and kick and scream and lie to law enforcement, lie to media, and just bullshit. My thing is who's going to be done first? Who's going to be done first? Will it be like everybody has had it? And we're all just like right here, man. We're just about to drown in this. And so when one person snaps, everyone snaps. This is kind of like the Tina Peters issue. I'll be talking about that here. In fact, fuck it. Let's just go right into it. Get your super chats up there. Get your comments down below. We're going to have some fun. You do a super chat, you get to put your comment right in there. Right? Okay, so what am I talking about? People have just being done with it. Colorado prison officials are refusing to recognize, accept, and act on President Trump's pardon of Tina Peters. They laughed at the fucking request. They refused to release her. Now, this is actually easy. Except Trump isn't doing anything. All Trump does is threaten, and then nothing happens. Not when it's meaningful to us. Well, when Israel wants him to bomb Iran, he does. And then he says, I just stopped World War III by me sending bombs into Iran. Right? We want him to stop, and then he sends more money and more weapons to Ukraine. I'm hoping that's done here at Christmas. We'll talk more about that in the next couple of days. But I'm tired of the bullshitting, right? New Yorkers, they don't just talk shit. They fucking throw dukes, right? Trump needs to do something. Colorado's refusing to let out someone he pardoned, right? If Trump wanted, this could be fixed. Send in the Army or the Marines or both, for all I give a shit, with armored vehicles that have battering rams and just break open the gates to this prison and just free Tina Peters Bastille style. In other words, when the French saw the American Revolution and its success, the people got tired of their king screwing them over, and they just fucking threw a giant fit and a riot one day. They stormed the Bastille, a giant prison, and freed all of the prisoners because they were all political prisoners, just like Tina Peters is a political prisoner. Right? The military can open that up. Colorado has two choices in this situation. They can get their asses kicked in, and they can go to jail if they're not killed, or they can behave. Recognize the pardon is for a supposed federal law violation over which a presidential pardon has jurisdiction and applies. My disgust level is at 99% with that and everything else. Everything else, I'm just fucking disgusted. Now, one more event is not going to push me into doing something stupid. Two more events is not going to push me into doing something stupid. I'm not going to do something stupid. But I'm up to here. I'm tired of the stories. I'm tired of the victimhood. I'm tired of the bullshit. I'm tired of paying fucking taxes. I'm tired of all of it. This is supposed to be the Christmas season. This is supposed to be a time of love and remembrance and fondness and family and a celebration of our Christian beliefs. Instead, we're having to eat big piles of this bullshit. Absolutely big piles of bullshit from all of this. Okay, I'm telling you. Yeah. So, I'm done with it. I'm up to here, right? In person, I don't see a whole lot of it, folks, but I see it on the news. I guess if I was chin music and I had some jackass in my face being a jackass, there'd be bigger fucking problems. But I just don't have it in person. I guess that's a good thing. Because, I've seen too many videos now of children getting beaten on by older children. I'm getting tired of these fucking fast food restaurant riots. I don't go to fast food, so I guess I'll never get involved in one. I'm getting tired of seeing people praying on the fucking ground in an intersection or in the middle of a sidewalk or in a fucking building lobby, anywhere they can to piss other people off. I'm not seeing it, but when I do, I'm not going to be happy about it. Let's do this. Let's have some more fun. Ooh, man, do we have some more super chats out there? Let's see what's going on. We got Nancy Keg checking in with a $20 kapow super chat donation. And she says, this is for all the Prepared Mind family does. Any topic, as usual. Have a great night, all. And Semper Fi, John. You bet. Semper Fi means always faithful. We say in the Marine Corps, and look, years ago, probably back in 2012, when Obama was in office, fucking everything up, I started seeing veterans, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Didn't matter who. If I saw them and I knew it, I'd just say Semper Fi. They go, hey, I'm not a Marine. I go, I don't give a fuck. We're all in this together. At some point, Americans, Christians have to realize we're in this together. We all better be faithful to what we believe is right and what we know and all of that. In any event, Nancy, let's see. What do we want to do? Let's have some fun with this. I don't know. Let's go with the globalist agenda as a concept. The globalist agenda. Think about this. I think we have to. We have to think about the globalist agenda. We have to, and then we must reject it. This is what someone wrote about this. Their final goal is to eradicate humanity and create their new order of domination. It takes a lot of physical and psychological abuse. Thank you, Uman. It takes a lot of physical, holy shit, and psychological abuse to get an intelligent species like ours to agree to its own extinction. Yet that's what we're seeing. If you think about every European nation where the politicians are paid off by the World Economic Forum, they're purchased and owned by other countries which donate money, open up foreign bank accounts, slush funds, retirement accounts, numbered bank accounts, however the fuck they do it. So these politicians vote for destroying European culture, whether it's Scottish, Irish, English, French, Spanish, Italian, German, Austrian, it doesn't matter. They're paying these people off, and these people are willing to destroy their countries. And a percentage of the population goes along with it. They're willing to allow themselves to be destroyed. Now, there's a couple of ways you can do that with a human. And it's all abusive. To get people to agree, to allow it, it is physical abuse. People getting beaten up, and everyone's like, hey, I don't want to get beaten up. I'll just do what those weird brown people are saying. Or the psychological abuse coming from television, mainstream media, movies, documentaries, bullshit lies. People are being psychologically abused so badly that they allow their children to cut off their genitals. They allow people to deface, put graffiti, and then burn down churches. They allow it. They know who the bad guys are. They know where they live. Yet, they allow it. They're beaten down psychologically. They're physically and psychologically beaten. And it doesn't, that doesn't happen with one incident, one accident. It takes years and years of beating someone down before they accept their worthlessness so badly that they agree to allow their own extinction. And they, folks, the bad guys, the evil people, have used massive, massive abuse psychologically and successfully, I might add. Look around you. Look around us, around our towns, our major cities, especially their capitals. Look around, good and hard. Then look into the wilderness. Show me any species of animal on earth that seeks to punish itself, deny itself, and then kill itself. Allow itself to be killed. There is no species of animal that still exists and thrives because they kill themselves. Why all of a sudden is Western civilization, Europe, North America, Australia, why are we killing ourselves by allowing a bunch of parasites to move in and treat us like a host body that they're going to feed off of and kill us? Well, there are no other species like that, because that type of self-hatred, self-loathing is actually suicidal and results in death. And here we are, folks, civilized Westerners, whether white, black, yellow, doesn't matter, are being self-destructive in our cultures, our system. And I'm just going to say we collectively, because the politicians are allowing it, and the source of the psychological abuse coming from media, news, entertainment, radio, music, all of that shit, right? We're listening to that crap, and and believing it. And people and nations, entire nations, are allowing themselves to be destroyed by these elite assholes with their dubious genetic makeup. They think they're gods. They think they're superior. The first thing we all need to do is stop allowing them to control our minds. Stop allowing them to control our environments with their flags and their paintings and their murals and their advertisements. I eliminate all that in my life. I don't watch their TV. I don't read their newspapers. I don't look at their internet. I don't look at their porn. I don't look at their trash. I don't believe a fucking word they say. I am not required to. I'll do my research. But I'm not going to allow them to enter my mind, much less control it. I'm not going to allow them into my environment, much less dominate it. I'm not going to allow them to change my beliefs or even question my beliefs or my actions. You, my friends, do not have to ask permission to live. In fact, you don't have to pay a tax to live. The government does not have a right. Government does not have the authority to make you pay a tax. Otherwise, you're going to die. But they want to convince you that they have that authority. You don't have to surrender yourself to your enemies. Our enemies are all around us. We don't have to surrender just because a newspaper or a television show or a movie or a politician or some famous jackass out of Hollywood says so. I don't need to surrender myself to somebody because they have a bigger microphone than me. They abuse. You deny them. Anything they say, believe the opposite. Yes, the exact opposite. And I think we will all discover facts, truth, and the way, our way to find safety and prosperity by denying them and doing the opposite. We're going to get into that. And when you hear me talk about it, you'll know exactly what the fuck I am talking about. All right, let us continue if we shall. We got super chats lined up. We're at, 275 people heading to 300 live right now. And we got Corsair Trainers. Hey, Steve, he says, just looked it up. She's being held on state charges. We're talking about Tina Peters here. Last I knew, he can't pardon her for state charges. Okay, I've read this. I have read this. Now, it's been a long time, Steve, since I went to law school. But I'm pretty sure that if a crime is both federal and state, or let me try this. If there's a law that is a federal law that says you're supposed to do action A, and there's a state law that is similar and they say you did it wrong, I believe the federal government, the federal law in this case, exists with a supremacy type clause. In other words, she was trying to follow federal law. They threw some state charges at her. Now, once again, I'm going to make the case, and you could be absolutely right. I could be absolutely wrong. But we've got a situation here where, and I know this to be true, the government can apply whatever fucking rules it wants at any time it wants. It can mistranslate, misapply, interpret things any fucking way it wants. And they do. They do. Chris Brown down here in Florida was arrested for January 6th. They planted fucking grenades, explosives in his house. They lied. They manufactured evidence the same way, I don't know, the January 6th committee did. The government's full of fucking liars. And they lie all the time. They misapply. They misapply statutes and rules and ordinances against people to punish them. They step away from the spirit of the law, and then they interpret the letter of the law however it applies to them. I've got some excellent examples to bring up. It's a great topic to discuss because I think we as a people are going to have to decide what's more important, the letter of the law or the spirit. Letitia James charged Trump with mortgage fraud, even though the bank said his property was worth what he said it was on his paperwork. She said it wasn't, that it was all wrong. So she applied her law the way she felt she should. Well, because it was politically expedient. Now, of course, he didn't get in trouble. But Letitia James, on the other hand, actually did lie on multiple mortgage applications and claim those to be primary residences. She did commit mortgage fraud. The exact same thing, the same, shall we say, subject matter that she charged Trump. Well, guess what? The government elected not to press charges. So again, the letter of the law or the spirit of the law? Well, they let her off on a technicality. They tried crucifying Trump. They could have let Tina Peters off on a technicality. They could have said, "Oh yeah, we've got conflicting reports, conflicting evidence. Oh, by the way, the state court in Colorado did not allow Tina Peters to adequately and properly and fully defend herself and present facts and evidence that would have refuted some of the testimony that was used against her." In other words, it was a sham fucking trial. Sham trial, the same way they found Trump guilty of 34 counts of nothing. It was felony nothing, but nothing nonetheless. Right? I got my issues with these fucking people at every single level, Corsair. Every fucking single level. From local to state to federal. I've got problems with all of them. Now, the side that I want to be on, this is the side I go to, is the side of freedom. I don't like fucking loopholes. I don't care for their bullshit games they play. Well, it says this here, and that's how I'm interpreting it. It's kind of like Clinton is. It depends on what the meaning of is. They're playing word games. It's word games. Everything is word games. What it really comes down to ultimately is who has the guns? Who has more guns? Who has bigger guns? Who has more people carrying guns? Who is willing to pull those guns? Who is willing to shoot? Like the only reason special forces soldiers, the only reason the Marine Corps are the ass kickers they are is because we have a lot of really big fucking guns and we turn dudes loose. We turn our Marines and soldiers loose and say, go kill the enemy. That's why we win wars. Where we lose wars is when they start playing games. When you don't give them guns, we'd lose. If our soldiers, our Marines didn't have guns, we'd lose. So it comes down to who has them, who's willing to use them to make it. This is where reality is, right? He who has the power makes the rules. He who has the guns makes the rules. The government has the guns and the badges, and they feel right, and they're willing to use them. So they pull their fucking guns on people, and they show their badges to pretend to be an authority figure. I think they're full of shit. The fucking state of Colorado was fucking crooked as fuck, just like down in Arizona. That fat bitch Hobbs is a giant sack of shit. They're fucking liars throughout Maricopa County. They're all liars. I think that this is just going to get uglier and stupider. I think that his presidential pardon falls under a supremacy clause because it was over the same subject matter, but I'm not a fucking legal expert, unfortunately. But last I looked, right, a state cannot charge a crime of something that is required by a federal law to perform. And if she did it incorrectly, let's see, every time the government does something incorrectly to me, no one goes to jail. No one gets arrested. They fuck me and I have to fight to get my money back because of a fine or a penalty or a tax that I wasn't supposed to pay. No one goes to jail for fucking me over, right? But Tina Peters makes a little mistake as a government official and she goes to jail. But everyone else I've ever run into, from police to lawyers to judges to elected officials, they don't get arrested, much less a mock trial and thrown in prison. It is incredible, the amount of bullshit. This is why I'm fed up to fucking here, Steve-O. I fucking had it with the hypocrisy, the double standards, the lies, the misinterpretations, the desire by all of them in government, anyone in power, to make up rules and just cherry pick what they want to fucking pick and then apply that with fucking gasoline, some napalm, and some fucking radioactive material and just cook everyone in their path. Now, I'm not calling for violence. I'm not calling for protests and riots and revolution or any of that shit. But I'm fucking sick of it. So I know everyone else must be. Even if you don't understand law, you don't understand law enforcement, you don't understand procedures, you don't see, that's what they do. Everything is created and it's put into this thing and they call it codes. Oh, it's the civil code, it's the criminal code, it's the penal code. Right. There's an appropriate term for government. Right. This is it. Everything is codified so we can't fucking understand it. And then you get in trouble and they go, ignorance of the law is no excuse. You give me a fucking break. Right. And then we see crooked cops, crooked judges, crooked legislators. They get off with a fucking wrist slap. You see these fucking third world scum in this country stabbing people, robbing them, murdering them, fucking raping them multiple times. They get out of jail and they go do it again. And these fucking judges let them off. But if you fuck up and expose them and their lies and their fraud, their fucking cheating, their corruption, they're going to throw your ass in jail, throw the fucking key away. This Tina Peters thing, that's why it's so upsetting. I don't think this old lady's fucking evil. I think she was trying to expose state fucking cheating in the election. It was election fraud. There were injured parties. People are deprived of their civil and lawful rights, right? To vote, to participate in our constitutional republic, and they fucking cheated. I am constantly bitching that there are no consequences for failure to do their government jobs. There's no consequences for them lying and cheating, and there's no consequences for them violating our rights collectively and as individuals. But this silly old lady catches some cheating, and they ignore all the federal statutes that require her to do what she did. Even if she didn't do it perfectly, she complied with the spirit of the law to the best of her ability to follow that federal law. And so they charge her with a crime under state law. Horseshit. And then they don't allow her to defend herself properly. That's fucking grounds for a mistrial. There should have been a fucking appellate review right away. And it should have been taken as far up the fucking chain as they could. And I don't know really where they're at on all of this. In a lot of ways, I also feel like this is just fucking made up bullshit just to piss us off and keep me distracted. Because who could be this fucking obvious and just evil and stupid? Well, wow. Yeah, anyways, thank you, Corsair. Great topic. Obviously, I feel a little feel personal. I feel personally attacked by all of these people. Not you, Steve. Fuck. It's a great conversation. I'd like to know. Probably should get our lawyer in here. He's down in Texas. It's been a little while since I've heard from him, but I'd like to hear his opinion on this since he argues federal law. Okay. Well, let's move on if we shall. We're 40 minutes into the show. We're going to go all the way till 8 p.m. And we got Big Dan, the man, checking in with a $5 super chat. And he asks, did you see the Sean Ryan podcast with Tulsi Gabbard? That was a good one, talking about how politicians become millionaires. I did not see the Sean Ryan podcast, but I do know that Tulsi Gabbard has been trying probably harder than any Republican in the Trump administration to bring about justice, right? To follow the law, to respect the country, the Constitution, and, well, the people. The people meaning us. But in our positions where we're at now in history, I think that not only do we owe ourselves personally and all real Americans who are alive today, I almost feel like I owe our ancestors not only a debt of gratitude for what they put up with, what they lived through, what they tolerated, what they fought for. I feel it incumbent upon me to honor them by trying to be the best man, the best American I can be. Right? I feel I owe them, even though they're not here, even though they're dead. They're long gone, 50 years, 100 years, 200 years. What all of our ancestors put up with here and fought for is why I think I should fight even harder. And Tulsi Gabbard, I think, is doing a good job. Politicians becoming millionaires? Well, from what I've seen, from what I've heard and recognized and understood, they do it two ways. Now, the only money we hear about is the money they actually say they have. They have to disclose what their worth is. Now, someone like Ilhan Omar was worth $50,000, then $150,000. Her third year was a little more. Right now, she's worth something like $30 million. She went from being worth absolutely nothing to having a lot of millions of dollars. How is that possible? She is dumb as a fucking box of rocks. And I mean that in all sincerity. She is a stupid bitch. She married her brother, committed fraud to get him into this country. Trump has talked about her to great lengths. Yet she got rich. How? Well, if she got money from CARE, if she got money from any of the Muslim organizations that want her to have power so she can rot our government from the inside with her fucked up bullshit, her lies, right? She won't ever claim that money. If they set up a bank account in the Caymans, the Bahamas, Cyprus, Singapore, Malaysia, wherever the favored, repository offshore banking is, we'd never hear about it. She doesn't have to disclose that. Right? Is it Kuala Lumpur, I think, has a big banking issue? Anyways, no. But if she has money in her American account, yeah, it's going to be a little harder to hide that. So she has to disclose it, meaning she has to share it. It has to be made part of the public record. Well, insider trading, you bet. Now, their wealth is different than their campaign money. Their campaign money can come from a number of different sources. That doesn't count as their personal wealth. Their personal wealth, they become millionaires by investing. How about that? Insider trading. And it's come up again and again. It wasn't until a few years ago when Nancy Pelosi, someone decided to look and go, holy shit, this bitch is a trading expert. Right? Worth well over $100 million. Right? Miss Lube. Nancy Pelosi is an extreme. She knows exactly when to get in, exactly when to get out. Unbelievable. That's how they do it, folks. Seriously. Thank you, Big Dan. I did not see that podcast, but dollars to donuts, you know who it was. And you know what it is, right? It's insider trading. And when they get out of office, they get book deals, right? They write articles. Hell, look at Hunter Biden. He became an artist and a painter, right? They get jobs sitting on board of this college, board of that corporation, They're going to run this thing. They're going to run that. They don't know shit. It's just a reward that's provided them as long as they sell out to the military industrial complex, the medical industrial complex, which we've learned is massively powerful. We'll be talking more about that later. Mr. Uman, let us continue with We Shall. We've got super chat donations from up there, which end up down here. And we've got DDG, probably mispronouncing that, DDG. Anyways, $5 super chat says, hey, John, I went back in time last week and watched your Bigfoot adventure. Oh, the good old days. Keep on keeping on, and Merry Christmas to you. DDG, it's DDG. Yes, it is DDG. I know now who you are. Yeah, the Bigfoot adventure. I'm continuing we're just going to switch over to this. For those who don't know, in high school, I had an all-night terror attack with a group of Bigfoots. There was a leader, a second in charge, and then anywhere from 3 to 4 others surrounded. Pretty nasty. 5 to 6 of them. The next day, went back to the campsite after escaping and tried ambushing them. They decided to ambush us, left. The next week came back and I was followed by one of them. Then that was it. Done. I've had a lot of Bigfoot things happen. The next summer, I was up at Bear River Reservoir. Look it up. It's off of Highway 88 in California. Bear River Reservoir was around the by what's known as Upper Bear at a campsite location just to the west, about half a mile from there's a Boy Scout, Girl Scout camp there. Campsites were completely, during a great weekend in the middle of summer, completely vacant. Not a fucking other soul. I thought it was great. I'm like, hey, I got the whole campground to myself. Middle of the night, giant boulders. They sounded like, 12-inch, 10-inch boulders just getting rolled by my tent. And I decided, hey, I'm going to put the old shotgun out the tent and just start shooting into the dark, because I was not going to be attacked by Bigfoots again. They'd stopped throwing boulders, and we threw all my shit in the back of the car, slammed the hatch down, and took off. Was not going to spend a whole night being terrorized by Bigfoot again. Let's see. Fast forward decades. Everything was fine for decades. And went camping with my sons at Lake Almanor in extreme Northern California up by Mount Lassen. And we're at a public campground, government campground. And we're sitting there, and I start hearing kids laughing. I didn't think anything of it. That kids laughing, what the fuck? Right? And then they started throwing rocks into our camp zone. And this is one of those camp places where it's, every 50 feet is a new camp zone with a place to park and a picnic table and a fire pit and all that shit. One of those campgrounds. It's pretty primitive. No public showers and bathrooms. No, wait, maybe there were bathrooms. Yeah, there were bathrooms, but just a hole in the ground type bathroom. Anyway, be that as it may, kids laughing. They throw rocks, and I yell at them, knock that stupid kids, and I go look for them. And there's no other campers out this area because it was just out the back. It's like the laughter was coming from that direction, but behind us was the end of the campground. There were no other roads or camp spots. Well, I did more research later after that and discovered that these Bigfoot things have different ways to communicate. And one of the sounds that they like to make is to imitate the sounds of children laughing. Because they sounded like they were maybe 25 to 50 yards away at times. That's pretty close. You'd think I could go find the little bastards, especially with flashlights. Couldn't. And then there was the final time that I dealt with them was on a camping trip where I just left my house, the one I started the show with, and went up on the hillside and was doing some primitive survival training with my sons, and said, okay, we're going to assume that you're stuck, you're lost, you need to bed down for the night, and you need to survive, right? So we did just that. They did the branches and bent branches over, created little tents and out of natural stuff, and we were having a good time. But in the middle of the night, started hearing snorting. Fucking snorting. Now we're basically in the middle of a field with a few small trees and bushes, but I get out the mega bright flashlight and hit the beam, and just light the place up and nothing. Of course, there's a 45 ACP right in the other hand. Everywhere I looked, nothing. Turn the light off. A few minutes later, snorting again. The fucking snorting is anywhere from 25 to 50 feet away. It's close. So I hit the beam of light, nothing. Fucking Bigfoot. They're clever little bastards. Anyways, I'm continuing to research and learn about this Bigfoot, and there's just so much incredible stuff. A lot of incredible stuff. Now, when my son got married a few months ago, we went and drove through the Hoopa Reservation in Northern California. It's down there where the Bigfoot Patterson film, the one Bigfoot video where it's walking. And I went and drove through that area hoping to see something. I saw a bear, but no Bigfoots. Anyways, it's another one of those mysteries. Bigfoot, man, that shit is real. I've seen so much weird shit in my life. I'm sure when I finally die and I get to the pearly gates, I'm going to have a lot to talk about and ask some questions I'd like some answers to, because I've seen weird flying objects and not know anything about them. I don't know if they're aliens or if they're just secret spacecraft that the government keeps from us. The Bigfoot thing. Fucking had ghost adventures. I've lived an interesting life. I've fucking battled chickens and roosters in the fucking jungles. Anyways, life is a weird thing. But reality is frightening, because when the sun comes up, it's still here. It doesn't have a time limit and go away like a camping trip or a vacation that gone fucking haywire. The reality is governments, evil people in our faces every day that affect our lives, our families, our parents, our children, our grandchildren, our entire country, this entire world. That is the nightmare. I can deal with Bigfoot. I can deal with aliens. I can deal with ghosts. Fucking government is something that won't let us go. We'll talk more about it. Man, what's up next, man? That was a little escape. We got Viking Boomer checking in with a $20 super chat. And he says, hey, being disarmed throughout the West, other than the U.S., is a field day for Islamists. Every day they decide to take us out. Now, here's the deal. Whether you're in Australia or Canada, the United States or the United Kingdom, these are all common law jurisdictions. And under the common law, it's common sense, common law that puts God, man, then government. God, man, and king or queen. Right? The people are always more important. Our rights come before government. That's the way it's supposed to be. It's not the way it is. Right? They have decided in many of these jurisdictions to say, you don't get to have guns. No more. So Canada's given up its guns for the most part. Australia's given up its guns for the most part. England, the United Kingdom, has given up its guns for the most part. They are, for the most part, mostly, and for most everyone, defenseless with respect to they don't have guns to be an equalizer. So you end up with these thug-like assholes with retard strength that shout aloha snack bar before they kill people. And they're creative. They'll use whatever they can to kill you. I mean, if they can, they'll do it with a truck or a car and just run your ass over or run over everyone in the street. And they'll start at 60, 70, 80 miles an hour and just plow right into a Christmas fair. And they have, or a Christmas parade, and they have. If they're not using a vehicle, they'll use bats. They've discovered that everyone gave up their guns, but hell, these fucking scumbags can get machetes, swords, long knives, and they're battling each other like idiots, and they're also going after civilized Europeans, Canadians, and Australians with these things. Now, the shooting that occurred down at Bondi Beach allegedly was done with a weapon. How about that? Some crazy Muslims ended up with guns in a country where you're not allowed to and there is no access to guns. What a interesting, shocking surprise that is. But your point, I think, is valid in that it's a field day for Islamists every time they decide to take us out. In other words, anytime they decide to act on the requirements of their law, Sharia law, which is based off of the Holy Quran, they were like, yeah, okay, Allah says to behead some infidels. Allah says to rape some infidels. Allah says to kidnap some infidels. And they do. Now, I think the lesson is clear. The lesson is absolutely clear. The reason for us, for everyone, man, woman, and even children, and by children I mean people under 18, but old enough to handle, are trained and respectful of firearms, they have a right to self-defense. And they have a right to use whatever it fucking takes to keep their life and their body and their health and their property intact. You don't have to allow somebody to show up at your house and burn it to the fucking ground with you in it. You have a right to stop them from killing you and killing others. So yeah, the Islamists are like, hey, thank you, stupid government officials, for accepting the bribes, bringing us into your country, not enforcing the law, and allowing us to kill you guys repeatedly. So you're right, Viking. It's a twofold problem. The Islamists, as you point out, decide that they're going to have a shitty day and make someone else's day shitty with them. And then it's the government, whether it's the legislators and the prime minister or presidents, whether it's local constabulary, the police, sheriffs, federal police, the judges, and prosecutors that decide to just let criminals go. I'm sorry about that, Muhammad. Go ahead and go back out there and start killing people again. It's cool. Sorry to have stopped you down and slowed you. Yeah, your religion is more important than ours. Wow. My recommendation, treat every threat as if it's life-threatening. I watched a video, read the news story of the guy who had a bunch of young punks trying to break into his house. I think an old woman had the same situation happen. Try and break into their house in the middle of the night. So they respond by shooting. Boom, 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 boom. Right? Some of them get hit. Sometimes they die. You're breaking into someone's house in the middle of the night. Oh, man, we were just there to rob you. You didn't need to kill us. You didn't need to shoot us and put us in the hospital. How the fuck is a person supposed to know if you're just there to steal a hot sandwich, or maybe get a glass of milk from the fridge just because you're hungry? Or are you there to steal the DVD player, which costs $30, or a TV, which costs $300? It is so petty that they're there to steal. No one has fucking boatloads of gold and silver in the house. Nobody has stacks of cash in their house anymore. Nobody. Right? Nobody even has stacks of cash in the bank anymore. It's all tied up in mutual funds and retirement funds, or in the things that they own, the house and the car. Anyways, you shoot these fucking people and they're like, I didn't intend to do this. You didn't have any right to defend yourself against me. The fuck I didn't. How many times do we see someone talk some shit? Then it turns into a fight. The person gets cold cocked from behind by the buddy of the asshole that started the argument. And then while you're laying on the ground, they're kicking the ever-loving shit out of you and you get killed. A simple misunderstanding and altercation. It turns into you're getting murdered. Oh, man, you want to stand up to me? I'm going to teach you. I'm going to bust your ass, man. But that's just it. You stand up for yourselves, and all of a sudden it goes from, we're going to take your wallet to now we're going to take your fucking life. All you can do is assume, especially if they're talking to you. Man, well, let us in. We're going to fucking kill you, right? Oh, I'm going to take you at your word. You want to kill me? You want to come down in the bunker? I'm going to flip the lights off. I've got night vision. You're toast. You're fucking toast because you don't know where or anything, right? That's what they do. They break into people's houses and they start screaming and yelling, right? Home invasion. Crazy world, folks. It really is a crazy world. Good golly. Oh, man. Chin Music's got a 762 super chat out there. It came in Venmo. All right. Let's have some more. We just hit the 1 hour mark, and we got 320 people live. Excellent. Hit the thumbs up. Make sure you're a subscriber. Once you're a subscriber, on for 5 minutes, you can do comments down in the comment section. And then, of course, share the internet address. Hit the share button and share it with everybody. They need to wake up. So Chin Music says, why can't all the Islamic refugees seek refuge on an Islamic country? Short answer, they can. So why don't they? Better wake up, and I mean quick, people. Voter ID has to be a constitutional amendment. It really does need to be an amendment. Voter ID, same-day voting, paper ballot, and a time limit. Either whether it's midnight or 6 a.m. the next morning, you've got to be done counting. Our country has done it with hundreds of millions of citizens for decade after decade after decade after decades. We've been able to count the votes, tally them up, turn them in, announce the findings. We have a winner. It shouldn't take 3 or 4 weeks to find a lot of false bullshit lie ballots from districts that have more votes than even fucking people live in it, and then say the Democrat won. As far as the first part of Chin Music's comments with respect to the Islamic refugees, they call themselves refugees, or they're asylum seekers. They come from war-torn countries. Their countries were war-torn before any other country went to war there. They're at odds with themselves. Muslims, if they're not fighting anyone else, like, I don't know, Sikh or the Jews or Christians, whoever they're pissed off at this week, they're fighting with each other. There are, I think, well over 50 countries that are Sharia law, Muslim-based. They should go there. Period. Not because I'm mean or selfish or ungenerous, but because they demonstrated now, number one, that they do not get along with other peoples, other cultures. They do not, they cannot, they will not. But the reason they're here is not because these other countries don't want them, even though I'm sure they don't. Just like Egypt, Syria, Jordan, and other countries don't want the fucking Palestinians. But those are Muslims. Why don't they want Palestinians who are Muslims? Because they're assholes. The same reason European countries have now discovered they don't like the Israelis. They're assholes. The Israelis are assholes. The Muslims are assholes. Nobody likes them. Yet they're in other countries doing what? Causing trouble. Those people from those cultures and those countries want to destroy what everyone else has. They want to go in and take the nice things. They're pretty much thieves, parasites. They're communists. They say, you have, so we want. And we have a right to take it because share and share alike, except unless we have all the money and then we aren't sharing shit with you. The number of Jewish billionaires would blow your mind. Would blow your mind. Yet somehow Israel needs America's money. They've got their own. Nope. Right? So these other parasitic countries send their people out. And they hate us and they want to rob us and stab us and beat us and make us uncomfortable, call us names, kind of like the chick up in Wisconsin who worked at a Cinnabon, eh? Right? She was repeatedly harassed by a male and a female Somali. They got kicked out. They changed clothes, came back, and continued to harass her to the point she flipped them off. She called them niggers, right? She just sick of their shit. And then she gets fired. They went there to harass her with the specific purpose to sexually harass her, make fun of her, irritate her, piss her off, and affected the business negatively by being there. Yet Cinnabon decides to fire her because she's an American in her country with her culture being harassed by a couple of freaks from something else. They come here because they know we tolerate. They come here because we're civilized. They see that as weakness. They don't live by the golden rule, which is the rule I live by. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. No. They come here and they see weakness, and so they fuck with people. They steal from people. They pickpocket. They steal. They break windows in cars. They go into houses. They walk up. They follow people home. They rape them in their homes. They're awful people. And they need to be kicked the fuck out of our country. Period. They can go back to India, back to Pakistan, back to all the North African countries, Eastern African countries, all of it. The Middle East, the entire fucking Persian Gulf area, they can have them all back. And guess what would happen in Australia, the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, and all of Europe? Guess what would happen? There would be a scream, a yell, a cry of thank God. And peace and prosperity could happen again. Peace. Good golly, peace. There's people now that live in total and constant fear of these Islamic screwballs. And we also live in terror from the World Economic Forum and these billionaire bastards. Imagine getting rid of all of them and the peace we would have, because no one's trying to steal our money. Government has to stop stealing our money. They have to be held accountable. Imagine that. If the courts actually upheld the law, if prosecutors actually prosecuted crime, if they went by the spirit of the law and understood what was needed for peace and prosperity, not, hey, your foot went over that line there, we're going to have to cut your foot off now. If we didn't have all these foreign fucks, these crazy bastards doing what they do, ramming into your car, stealing your shit. Right? Unbelievable. Oh, yeah, folks. Oh, yeah, I got to tell you. Now, I guess, Uman, where are we at? I'm going to shoot you a quick message here, Chief. Okay. There's a lot of crazy shit going on. And we haven't touched on all of it yet, you guys. It is your show. That's why we do the super chats and Venmo, CashApp, PayPal. So you guys can ask the question and introduce, well, the subject matter and your thoughts, your opinions, etc. So let's do it. Uman, who's next on the Prepared Mind channel? We're climbing up. We're close to 350 people live right now. And we're being shadow banned by all social media. So the fact that we have hundreds of people here live when we went live is amazing. The information is valuable. So we've got Northern Pike checking in with a $5 super chat. It says tariffs. The United States of America could look like Dubai with our Constitution, without corruption, Congress, Senate, legislative, executive, and judicial branch. Yeah. Dubai. He's referring to Dubai, a very prosperous and powerful growing city in the Middle East. Why? Right? Well, because that's what they want to have for themselves. The people that govern Dubai, the people that run Dubai, the people that benefit from Dubai want to have an environment where international business can go and operate safely. The people that live in Dubai, and I actually know someone who does, they want a safe place they can put their money, whatever money that is, whether it's a fiat money or gold and silver. They want a place where they can be safe from being dicked with. Well, that's what our Constitution used to do. Our Constitution, right here, used to protect me and you, all of us. It used to protect us from Congress, from the Senate, from the legislative authorities, from the presidential powerhouse of a seat where things can be, the judicial branch. We used to be protected from them, and they were required to protect us, our money, our wealth, our rights, our property. And they don't anymore. Now they look at us like wolves staring at sheep. Well, we're going to be what's for dinner. Well, in Dubai, everything looks great. They're expanding, they're building, they're improving, they're making a great world there because the people with money are being protected, and it attracts wealth. It does not punish performance. It doesn't punish production. It doesn't punish investment, unlike the United States of America, which is now run by a parasitic political class that is only interested in enriching itself, taxing the shit out of people, stopping those they don't like, encouraging those they do, and bringing down the country and its institutions. So it's being run by a mafia terror organization. I'll let you figure out who the fuck that is. Well, we'll be talking about that some more. I will name names. A mafia-like terrorist organization. Thank you, Northern Pike. Now, and no tiddlywinks and taxes on the true-born American. That's all. Merry Christmas. Americans, we weren't supposed to be taxed. We were supposed to live in a system where the government had to fund itself through just a few means. Import-export tariffs, corporate taxes. We, the people, were supposed to be left alone. Unless they had an apportioned tax, meaning we all paid the same. We all paid the same, right? In other words, we all shared alike in paying for things. Instead, some are punished, others are rewarded. Not a good system. I tell you. And I appreciate the Merry Christmas, Northern Pike. It is the Christmas season. It's December the 14th, 11 days. 11 days until Christmas. Isn't that great? Yes, indeed. I tell you. I tell you. Let's do it. Ooh, man, who else do we have out there? Who's up next? And what? Holy cow, we got Blue Cord Devil with a $50 super chat donation. That buys me a scotch. You guys and your donations, it just doesn't go into my pocket to go spend on hookers and blow. It keeps the lights on, pays the bills, pays the subscriptions, and keeps me fully informed so I can come here and share, well, my interpretation of current events with you. And, of course, to advise everyone why we need to continue and always forever be prepared for whatever the government and our enemies are doing to throw shit at us. Semper Fi, Blue Cord, Merry Christmas. I tell you, like mother's milk. Thank you. He says, my pick of topics. Okay, so last week, some big things were happening. Where do I want to go with this? Good golly. Let's start with this. Last week, the president of the World Jewish Congress sent a warning to every America First candidate or any potential America First candidate who wants to run for Congress or any office in the United States of America. The Jewish World Congress threatens American political candidates. Right off the bat, right out the fucking gate, this is election interference coming from our greatest ally. The claim is if you don't support Israel, if you platform or say anything, and this is the president's speech, the World Jewish Congress president, if you platform or say anything we deem anti-Semitic, we will target them and start a fund for their opponent. Oh, they've got huge funding going against Thomas Massey, Congressman, America Firster. We should all, not just me, not just Republicans, not just veterans, we Americans should be outraged, and rightly so. Congress should be fucking livid and outraged that they, as an institution of American government operating in our republic, are being threatened by a bunch of fuckwads from a third world shithole dump of a country that was stolen in 1948 and is now committing genocide, is going to threaten our fucking country because they deem something anti-Semitic, which is anything they want. Law enforcement and our intelligence agencies should be absolutely enraged and then engaged in taking action to protect our country from foreign influence and foreign threats. And they should be finding the opponents of these America Firsters, or anyone who could be deemed anti-Semitic. Oh, no, not that, not the anti-Semitic word. That's like calling me a racist. Oh, that hurts. I've heard it too much. Oh, you're a white supremacist. Really never heard that one. This doesn't work anymore. It doesn't have the effect anymore. But anytime they want, over anything, they can just yell anti-Semite and then start throwing money at you to hurt you by funding your opponent. I don't know why law enforcement, the Attorney General, the FBI isn't investigating any opponent of an America First candidate. Imagine that. Being America First makes the World Jewish Congress Council fucking hate you because you want your country to come first in your own country. That is fucking outrageous. But they'll stand up there on the stage talking to their fucking scumbag friends, donors, and just fucking shit all over us and claim that they're superior because they claim that there's a God that they worship that wants them to kill everyone and everyone to become their slaves. And we're supposed to fall on our fucking knees and kiss their asses? Oh, yeah. You bet. They're threatening Americans. You shut up. Don't you fucking dare say anything we don't like. Even if you don't know we don't like it, you better not say. Just shut up. And then shortly after that, guess what we get? We get people getting killed in Australia. Blue Cord Devil, we're going to go to Bondi Beach, Australia. What happened in Bondi Beach, man? How many people got killed? 11? 10? 111? Well, I'll tell you what the news says. Right? The news says terrorists killed at least 11. 2 terrorists killed 11 people, including children, at Bondi Beach during a Hanukkah celebration. And they're calling this an attack on a Jewish community. Well, wait a minute. So it's a religious community. Well, right. Why is this a problem for Israel? Well, because they're Jews. No, wait. Israel is Israelis. They are a secular government. Oh, they're having problems, folks. They're using this. Now, whether or not anyone was killed for real, and this isn't a false flag, and I don't know if it isn't, except I got one guy who was there, who's covered in blood, laying on the ground, taking a fucking selfie of himself, who, when there is a shooter killing people around you, wants to play victim so bad that they take a picture of themselves with blood all over themselves, laying on the ground, wounded. Who the fuck does that? Well, if you're a professional victim and you're pulling off a fucking stunt and you need a really good picture to make it in the newspapers so you get the sympathy you want and the support you want, that's what you do. Right. Now, see, I thought these were Australians. Apparently not. Why, if people were killed in Australia, do we have to bring religion into it? Right? So 11 Jews were killed with a gun in a gun-free zone, by the way. How did these guys get a gun? How did these Islamic dudes get a gun? Number two, 11 Jews were killed in Bondi Beach versus 100,011 civilians killed in Gaza by Jews. Which one is worse? Where is the call by the mainstream media for anti-Palestinian war crimes? Where is it? Exactly right. Every time one Jew gets killed or 11, and we're all supposed to drop on our knees and cry and beg God forgiveness that we haven't kissed their asses enough, yet they can kill indiscriminately. And it's not a fucking joke. Thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of Palestinians. And it's not a problem because God said so. Because God promised them that land thousands of years ago. Because they don't like Hamas. Because they are terrorists. So instead of killing the terrorists, you just kill everybody. And you bomb the fucking ground flat. You turn a city into a pile of fucking dusty, smelly rubble. And we're supposed to say, whatever. Good job. Way to go, Israel. Right? Now, one more time for the record. Both Palestinians and the Israelis are murderous people with murderous religions and murderous plots and designs for each other. And there's no love for anyone else but themselves. I don't like any of those people. I don't like what they did to the Marines. I don't like what Israel did to the Navy. Our greatest ally tried sinking an American warship by attacking it directly so they could blame it on Arabs. The Levant affair. How many times do we have to see these false flag attacks? And then it gets used. Oh, yeah, here we go. It gets used. It gets used, folks. Bibi Netanyahu. Right. Bibi Netanyahu. Unbelievable. Has come out after the terror event, and he's very upset. He is. I've got to find this here. Bibi Netanyahu wants to tell everyone that we need to fix this, that anti-Semitism cannot be allowed to stand, and that should be our priority. Do you agree with that? Do you agree with that? Should that be what we're all concerned about? It's just gotten too stupid. It really has. The moment something happens, Bibi Netanyahu runs to a microphone. After Charlie Kirk gets killed, the son of a bitch has Charlie Kirk posters up everywhere saying he loved Israel. And then he went on the news not once but multiple times to say Israel didn't kill him. Right? Thou dost protest too much. We're going to have nothing but trouble. William Nipper, 1999 super chat donation. Yes. Didn't Israel attack the USS Liberty? That's an attack on the United States military, the United States Navy. Yes. They attacked them with fighter jets. They bombed them. They strafed them with gunfire. They killed dozens of sailors. The ship was on fire. It was fucking crippled. But guess what? The ship didn't sink. The ship wouldn't sink. It's amazing. They lived to tell about it. The Israelis could not sink. Sounds like their storm god that they worship wasn't all that powerful. That's what it sounds like to me. Yeah, the Israelis, let me ask you this question. What have they done for America? What generous thing have they given America? Think about it. I think we can be honest with ourselves and ask that fucking question. What have they really done for us? We send them billions of dollars a year for what? Do they come to America, right? Do they bring peace to the Middle East or instability? To me, it's a giant fucking mess. And there's really not a lot of benefit to it, if any at all. I'd like to know what the hell we're supposed to think of this. Good golly. All right. Mr. Uman, who's up next? We're at the, holy cow, we're closing in on the 90-minute mark. We got Dan, the man, Erickson, back with a $5 super chat. And he says, they call Trump and us, his supporters, some very slanderous names. We should all file lawsuits for defamation of character. I don't know who they is that we're talking about. And that's the trick. I think we're talking about the Democrats, because they seem to call Trump and all of us the most names, the most loudly, everywhere they can. Not only the Democrats, but Democrat supporters and the mainstream media. They do. Slanderous names. Well, they call us names, right? Is that a blood libel? Are those fighting words, right? Well, it would seem like it. It would seem like it. But it just doesn't seem to have an end. Right? It doesn't seem to have an end. The names, the attacks on our liberties, on our rights, they're attacks on who we are as people, who we are as a nation. How can we get a lawsuit for defamation of character as a body of Americans that doesn't have an organizational representative, right? That's what Congress is supposed to be, an organizational representation of the American people. Yet another organization which hates America, the Democrats, attacks us. And then the Republicans, who are supposed to represent Americans who love America, well, they're just a bunch of sellout and cowards, so they don't do anything about it. There should be laws in this country, and I think there are, that being anti-American is a fucking crime. Being a communist used to be a crime, right? Muslims, is anyone who worshiped Islam, were not allowed to hold office. The country regulated who came into this country based on their belief systems. If you believe in hating America and that our Constitution is wrong and that our culture is bad or our traditions are wrong and you're not going to assimilate, you weren't even fucking considered to be allowed to come in. Right? The border to our country at one point was tighter than Ebenezer Scrooge's sphincter, man. Nothing was getting through. Not anymore. Shit, now they're inviting in people. They think it's fucking great. I know Trump is putting a stop to that. I know he wants to get rid of these people. And as of late, as of the last week, Trump has really gone on an anti-Islam speech fest. But I'm sick of words. Sick of it. Words mean nothing to me. It's actions. It's actions. What action are you going to take? Don't just tell me you got a problem with Islam. What are you going to do about it? Don't just tell me you have a problem with people waving flags from other countries. What are you going to do about it? Right? There's a lot of people, and I found this fascinating over the weekend, that are so frustrated, so fed up to hear that they're saying, look, I don't care if we have to go to a martial law scenario, have the military on the streets, and clean these fucking people out, one city at a time. Or hell, a dozen cities at a time. But just go from one end of the city, sweep across the whole thing, and remove these fucking people. Now, can you imagine? I'm not saying kill them, remove them. What country you're from there, Muhammad, Ahmed? Great. We'll put you on a plane and send you right back. You can go be with people who look like you, who act like you, who smell like you, and you'll fit right in. You'll be very comfortable. And I guarantee, folks, these people are from other countries, not ours, not our culture. They're losing their fucking minds. It's culture shock, and they cannot assimilate because their IQ is tiny, because their worldview is non-existent. To them, they're on another planet, and they don't understand it, and it's making them mad because they're retarded and they can't do it. I mean, they come to our country and live in fucking hotels and new houses and apartments and condos, and they bitch about the food and everything about our country that's given to them for free, while we suffer and pay for these dumb motherfuckers. Get them all out. Are we going to have to go that far? I don't know. Are we being prepped for it? Quite possibly. Is this an effort to see if America can stand and withstand a foreign enemy that hates us so much that it'll accept money from us as a country, turn around and use that money to try and destroy us just to see if they can? Oh, that country's out there, folks. It's out there. Anyways, thank you, Big Dan. Yankee Watchdog checks in and says, we can do nothing until it becomes legal to delete them. This is an interesting statement. With respect to foreigners in this country, we can do nothing until it becomes legal to delete them. I'm going to use the word remove them. But we can say delete them so they're no longer a problem for us. We're deleting, removing the problem. We can do nothing. We can do whatever we want. Literally, right now. I'm not recommending anyone do anything. I'm saying you can do. It's up to you. You can choose to go to bed or you can choose to go out. You can choose to go to work or you can choose to take a gun and go play Wyatt Earp and deliver Wild West justice. You can do whatever you want, but you cannot escape the consequences of your decisions, your choices, your actions. That is where I am, or anyone. I could solve a lot of fucking problems, but I don't want to deal with the consequences of those choices. So I elect or choose not to do the things that would fix a lot of problems in a big fucking hurry. Now, what happens when we're given a green light? There's going to need to be rules to the game, some parameters. You better speak good fucking English, right? There's a lot of different ways to say who belongs here and who doesn't. Now, every ethnic group, understand this, that is in this country and knows where they're from and hates you and hates me and hates all of us and hates our rules and hates Christianity, all of these different countries, all of these different people, by the millions who are here, the moment they start getting thrown the fuck out or put in the grave because they decided to start a war with us, the moment that happens and they see they're going to get eradicated or, as you put it, delete, guess what? All of a sudden, they're going to start waving American flags. All of a sudden, it's going to be baseball, apple pie, and George Washington for those motherfuckers. All of a sudden, they're going to recite the First, Second Amendments verbatim. They'll do the fucking preamble. Oh, you bet. They'll do the Emancipation Proclamation. They'll scream that shit at the top of their lungs. Because all of a sudden, they're going to see that it's their asses. But right now, no one's stopping them. No one's right. We're all putting up with their shit. So they see us as weak. When it's legal, you'll know it. By legal, I mean, can you fix the problems and not go to jail? Nope. You're not allowed to enforce the law. You're not allowed to protect America. You're not allowed to protect your family, your neighborhood, your schools, your city. No. We have to leave that to government, who's too busy arresting fucking grandma for collecting rainwater, or grandpa for walking his dog down the street and upsetting some people from other countries. Don't you dare bring a Quran within 1 foot of a piece of bacon, or you're taunting those poor people and committing a hate crime. Remember when they started this hate crime a couple decades ago? I knew right away these slimy, sleazy lawyer motherfuckers can call anything a hate crime the same way the Israelis call anything anti-Semitism. There doesn't have to be an injured party. It's just hate, so someone's feelings are hurt. Oh my God, I feel hated. Now we got fucking fruitcakes and ding-dongs and ho-hos and fucking turban heads and camel jockeys and lion motherfuckers who claim to be from the Middle East but are actually from Poland and Hungary and Eastern Europe. Right? They're all liars. They're fucking liars, every last one of them. I've dealt with them, folks. Just enough to learn who they are and how they work and what they do. Okay, let's have some fun here. Man, what do we want to discuss next? We got Chin Music. He's back again with a $4.99 super chat donation. And he says, the Cinnabon chick is right. We don't have a race problem. We have a problem race. Yeah, that race is a bunch of un-American dumbasses. And it's not just their race. You could call it their ethnicity if you want. Right? That ethnicity within that race, within the country of Somalia, they love incest. I think anywhere from 60 to 80% of the country is suffering from serious complications due to inbreeding. It's not good. That's a problem, whether you call it a race or a tribe or a fucking ethnicity. I don't give a shit. I don't care. There's serious problems with them. Then you look. I've known great people from every country and every culture and every religion, it seems, because that's what they show me. But when I look at them as a people, as a group, as a tribe, when they are together and in big numbers, how does that tribe behave? Before all these fucking Muslims were up in Scandinavia, Finland, Sweden, Norway, people look like me, Iceland, there were no problems. You could go there and not be, I'm going to use the word molested. You can walk down the street unmolested. You don't have panhandlers, beggars. You're not being stalked. You're not being threatened. You're not being harassed. You're not being mimicked and mocked and teased. Now it's a fucking nightmare up there. Why? Because we have problem races. Right? We all have to admit, Israel needs a country for Jews. And hey, look here, China is for the Chinese. People who are Chinese ethnicity or Asian race, and then Japan. Japan is for the Japanese. The Middle Eastern is for people of Arabian descent. Africans, sub-Saharan, that's where the black man came from, and we can't have any whites in there. Get them the fuck out. Everyone can have their ethnicity or their race or their tribe or whatever. But when we say, hey, look, my culture is based on European. The law was British common law. Most of the people are white, but we had other races that lived with us, acted like us, believed like us, lived like us. We all got along. But now you're telling us that we can't have that anymore. And instead of calling it freedom, you're calling it whiteness. There can't be a white America anymore. There can't be a white Canada. There can't be a white United Kingdom. There can't be a white Europe anymore. That is wrong to have your culture, your tribe, and your race, your ethnicity. White is evil. Even though from Europe, America, a massive amount of culture, art, philosophy, technology, the advancements and inventions that came from us that have benefited the entire world. Without us, we'd still be riding around on fucking camels in the Middle East. Right? They didn't even have fucking horses. No, I forgive me, I'm wrong. They do have horses. They had horses and camels. Down in Africa, they rode around on fucking ostriches or nothing at all. Right? South America, the Americas, they didn't have horses. Indians did not ride horses until Americans or Europeans gave them to them. Alan Meyer Jensen says, It's another scam because the white people are a minority on the earth. Estimates 7 to 9% of the planet are white. We are a massive minority. Yet, the rest of the world looks at us and goes, but you guys have all the wealth. But you guys have all the inventions. But you guys have all of this and all of the that and all of the other. Well, I'm sorry. We work hard. We think hard. We put our things right. You don't just go, I'm white and therefore stuff is going to come out of the ground and I'm going to eat it. No, you've got to plant it. You've got to understand seasons, when you plant, when you harvest. You got to save enough seed for the next year, but you get enough to eat and survive on in the meantime. That's agriculture. And then animals and harvesting and growing, and there takes some fucking effort. The rest of the world, not very well, right? Now, I'm not going to say that with respect to food and food production, that a company like Monsanto isn't trying to poison the fucking world. I'm not going to say they're not, because a lot of people say they are. That their seed program is bullshit, and it is absolutely harming everybody. But guess what? It's not just third world countries that are being harmed. It's emerging markets. It's America. It's Europe, right? These evil bastards at the very top. Guess what color they're not? They're not white. They don't claim to be white. Oh, unless they need to hide behind that color. All right, enough of my bullshit. Alan Meyer says, and they're fair and woke minority. All about that. On white people are a minority on earth. 12% facts. All right, Alan. English facts is F-A-C-T-S. We have a really goofy language when it comes to spelling. You just revealed yourself to not be an American. Anyways, it's cool. I get it. You are right. The facts are. You put down 12%. I've seen numbers as low as 7. As low as 7, because they say that census taking and population census, the counting of people, is much more difficult in emerging market countries and third world countries, where huge amounts of people live out in the wilderness and nobody knows how many, so they just estimate. So it could be more or less. That's why the disparity in figures is so great between 7 and 12%. I just kind of think 9 is a good number. In any event, America is not, it's not a land that's different than any other country. It's difficult to grow food everywhere. It's difficult to raise livestock everywhere. It's difficult to mine everywhere. It's difficult to produce everywhere. It's difficult to get water everywhere. It's just, you have to have a culture and an intelligence level that allows you to harness and utilize natural resources to the extent that the population can live, right, at a more comfortable level. And Europe, until it became socialist, had that standard of living. It's been going to shit ever since it accepted socialism as a way to live, because people didn't want to work hard. They just figured it would just happen naturally. That comes from not just apathy, but ignorance, thinking, and then the belief that someone else can work hard and I can benefit off of it. You know, America, Canada, very white, or at least it was. I mean, 60, 70 years ago, America was like 80% white, 90% white. I can't remember what the figure is. It was pretty damn high. Not anymore. Not anymore. Our countries are being destroyed, and it's happening intentionally. It's being not just asked for, but demanded, and then they're bribing, buying, screwing us over. These foreign influences. They're doing it to America, Canada, Australia, the United Kingdom, all of Europe, everywhere they can. And they're even using our own politicians to attack us. In Europe, the European Union, that absolute wretch of a human being in charge of the European Union, they claim that the EU would not be sovereign, that it was just an organization that would help Europe, right, prosper. Now they're penalizing and fining countries for not destroying themselves, right? Poland, how dare you not allow in all of these illegals? We're going to fine you. Literally, they're fining millions and millions of dollars a day for refusing to allow these fucking third world scum into their country. Hundreds of thousands of British girls, little girls with squeaky voices and braces and pigtails. They're just cute little kids are being raped, literally raped, sexually assaulted and violated and raped and even murdered by these fucking Muslims. And the government, the police department, the judges, the prosecutors, fucking parliament, right? All of them, all the way up to the prime minister and the king of England doing jack shit while their country is literally being raped by these fucking third world scum. How much longer? I believe over the weekend, the country of Italy is shut down. It's not being covered very well in the news or in the alternative media. I'll be watching that. The people have had enough of this shit. But how much is too much? How much is enough? And what is going to be legal? Better yet, what is going to be lawful? That is to say, what are you and I, all of us, in the whole planet, not just America, when are we going to be, with respect to the right to self-preservation, when are we going to be lawfully allowed to defend ourselves to the extent that we need to wipe our enemies out of our countries? Give them, say, a month. You have 1 month to get to a fucking airplane and get the hell out of our country, because after that, it's going to be hunting season. Is it going to get that bad? Could it get that bad? Could it get that bad in some areas or some territories? Or could it get that bad across all of Europe? I don't know. Now, see, the difference between Europe and America, or rather America and the rest of the world, is America, we have a lot of guns, an incredible amount of ammunition. It's stockpiled, it's stored in cool, dry environments. Look, I've shot ammunition from World War II, folks. It still goes bang. Right? That's 30-06 ammunition out of the Grand, M1 Grand. They still work. That ammunition lasts a long time. People have been stockpiling ammunition my entire life and longer. And heaven help us, and heaven help our enemies if at some point this ever fucking goes pop. It's not going to be pretty. I don't want to see it. I've been afraid my whole life, folks. I think I was about 14 when I realized that some bad shit's going to happen. And I had no idea that it would ever get as bad as it has now, and that the people would allow it. Instead, what I see is a country that has been psychologically manipulated and controlled, abused by the CIA, Mossad, MI6, mainstream media. We're under an incredible amount of psychological pressure. Psychological pressure, folks. COVID-19. Psychological pressure. Trying to scare everyone. The Jim Jones juice. The vaccine. The amount of pressure that was squeezing everybody to take that shit. I did not. People around me did not. A lot of people did not. But the pressure is real. The guilt, the threats, the fucking lies. It's not just COVID, and it's not just the vaccine, folks. It's this belief that we have to allow these foreigners in our country. It's the belief that we have to accept that their religion allows them to violate our laws, violate us as a people, our decency, our culture, our traditions, and that we have to allow them to dominate us, to ignore our laws and bring in their own. What kind of psychological abuse is being weighed and levied against us to keep us from doing what we know is right, which is putting together a posse of 1,000 Americans and just going into a town and, like a cattle drive, pushing everybody out who is not an American and into an airport and on a fucking plane and get the fuck out of here. That would solve our problems. That would solve the problems that those people caused. Have you noticed that every day of the week we get hit with multiple news stories across the entire spectrum of the news world, the entire spectrum of, well, politics, education, military, global affairs, housing, food, health, right? We are slapped and swatted with so much. It's like being swarmed by bugs. You don't know where to swing to hit them, right? You can't get rid of them because they're just, everything is an attack. But if we got rid of, let's just say, all of the foreigners, zoom, they're out of our country. Okay, now what's the next problem? Education. Okay, everyone who's going to be in school, you have to, dress like a human being. No more colored hair. No more fucking transgenders. No more talking about it. You're going to teach reading, writing, and arithmetic. You open your mouth any other way, and we're going to have cameras in the classroom to listen to you. And if you do, you're fucking fired, right? Clean the schools out. Okay, now we don't have to worry about education or foreigners. Any religion that is not Christian, that hates America, teaches hate, encourages hate, if you can read their stuff and it says to kill the goyim or kill the infidel or write any of that stuff, you are out of the country. Now, we've gotten rid of that. Anything we need to get rid of. I'm not saying kill the people. I'm just saying get them out of the country. Every time we get rid of this, take them out of positions of power. No communists in government. None. If you want to have little communist dreams, you go right ahead. But you're not going to serve in government, right? Voting. You've got to be an American, born here to vote. Even naturalized citizens, I don't think should vote, much less hold office. At this point, they've proven and demonstrated they cannot handle the responsibility of being an American because they hate this fucking country. Of course, they come in and say they love it, and then as soon as they have the passport, right, they're like, yeah, fuck America, and they start. No, these are the problems we're having. This is leading us deeper and deeper into SHTF territory. This is why I say you need food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, is because of what these people are doing. These people are lovers of evil. They're lovers of Satanism. Let me give you a fucking taste of this shit. There's a judge put in office by Obama who is praising an illegal alien who both raped and sodomized a woman who has cerebral palsy. She's absolutely helpless. So a judge is praising this guy, refuses to add years to his sentence. She openly praised him for being a, quote, ambassador for living up to our immigration restrictions. He raped and sodomized, that means ass fucked, a crippled woman with cerebral palsy. And she says his devotion, his family devotion and willingness to perform work that it claimed Americans find undesirable. Really, what? We're supposed to care? He performed work that Americans find undesirable, so therefore he can do whatever the fuck he wants? Attack, assault, rape, and sodomize someone. And a judge, a Democrat judge, says that's great. That is the Democrat and established hatred that we see for our laws, our justice system, and Americans. They ignore the crimes, they lie about the criminal, and then have sympathy and even reverence for him. Right? That is a level of evil that is horrifying, that these people out here don't just hate us. They don't just not like America. They fucking hate America and you and me. They are the lovers of evil. They're awful, awful, awful people. And what can we do about it? Not a lot, right? There's not a lot we can do about it. Just, it's a big wow. It really is. Good golly. Just good golly, I tell you. Okay, Mr. Uman, I know we're running out of time. Let's do it. What do we got? Big Dan the Man Erickson with a $5 super chat. He says, if they ever figure out a way to disarm Americans legally, I'll be long gone by that time. I'm 64 years old. Yep. Yeah, they're waiting for you to die, man. They're waiting for me to die. They don't want us around. We are problem. They like to use terms like problematic. They don't like us. They don't want us. They hate us. They do. They absolutely hate us. They can figure out a way. They just can't get away with it. We know our rights. We know our liberties. That doesn't mean they're going to stop, though, right? It doesn't mean they're going to stop. Okay, let's do another one here. I know we're running out of time. And hey, as long as we've got people that are doing the super chat thing, I'm going to address it. We got Northern Pike with a $5 super chat, and he says, Dubai, the United States of America, our roads, bridges, infrastructure could be much better than Dubai. But you have to enforce the U.S. Constitution. Right? They don't. So our country's falling apart. Our roads are terrible. Our bridges fall from time to time, or ships run into them. Our tunnels, everything. It could be much better. Things could be cleaner, nicer, better finished. Right? I don't know where all the fucking tax dollars go. I drive around Florida. The roads are shit. But hell, the roads are shit everywhere. Make fun of California roads. You make fun of every road. They're crap. Why? The amount of money we pay in fucking fuel taxes is absurd. Right? Everywhere. Fuel taxes, state, federal, whatever. Bridges. Right? I go over bridges in Florida and you have to pay toll. Right? Toll bridge and toll highways. Why aren't they better? Everyone driving every fucking mile, you're paying $1. You're telling me we can't have better roads than this? Man, Mile High Ronin sent in a $5 cash app. And it's for salute and cheers. Thank you, Mile High Ronin. The world could be better. Dubai looks great, looks clean, looks special because there's so much money there. And corruption, I'm sure it's there. It's everywhere. People suck, right? At the same time, if you violate the law, they don't just let you get away with it like you do here. In fact, it's a fucking resume enhancer in the United States of America. You break the law, that person's got moxie and they want to go places to the top. Let's promote them so they can steal even more. It's just disgusting. It truly is. I mean, it's like musical chairs, folks. Think of it like musical chairs. Okay, you start the game off musical chairs. And I see, Mr. Uman. You start off, there's 10 people, and there's 8 chairs. Okay, when the music stops, let's just say it's tax season. At tax season, the music stops, and people sit down. Well, 2 people aren't going to make it. Not everyone gets to finish the game and the race as a millionaire. Right? Some people just don't get anywhere and others accelerate in advance. But what's happening is we're all walking in circles. But the government, right? The mayors, the governors, city councilmen and the legislators, the senators, the National House of Representatives, their staff, the senators, all the fucking judges, the bureaucrats and the ATF and the IRS and the FBI and the AG and the DOG and the DHS. Oh yeah, and the CIA. And DNI, how many more do we have to talk about? They're all taking the chairs for themselves. They take their own chair because they're in positions of power and authority. They take a chair, so they get to be in the millionaires club. They get to win. They get to finish first. But by taking all that money away from everyone else, we don't win. Not only that, they take so much money that the fucking highways are shit. Cities look like crap. The buildings look old and shitty. The streets, the sidewalks. You look at Dubai, you look at some of these countries, and they are pristine. They look like someone just took the cellophane off the wrapper. They're brand fucking new. It's amazing. Why? I used to think America, and there's no other cities like our American cities. I look at Dubai, I look at Tokyo, I look at a lot of cities. In China, their cities are fabulous. Well planned, laid out, executed nicely. But the system's corrupt, right? Our cities don't look great, don't look amazing. They're fucking ravaged because of these scumbags in charge. Anyways, we're not going to solve these problems today, folks. But at some point, it's going to be back in our wheelhouse. All right, Mr. Uman, what's up? Who's up? We got Jay Maskinnis, Big John with a $3 super chat donation. And he has a humorous statement here, and that's the disclaimer. At this point, I would not absolutely rule out the possibility that hordes of zombies could be total experts in deploying satellites and high-tech drone swarms. It sounds like you just named 3 or 4 or 5 different problems we have, all acting in concert in unison to destroy us and the entire civilized world. And guess what? Wouldn't surprise me. Between satellite technology and 5G, 6G coming next, right? What a world, folks. You can't just check out. And this is a problem I ran into when I was a jarhead. Right? I had some problems with some really, really bad, corrupt people. I was a whistleblower to take care of the problem. And I was told, John, if you leave, there's going to be one less on the good team, and it's going to help make the bad guys more powerful. This came from a staff sergeant named Anderson. So I can say his name and not expose who he is because it's a relatively common name. He's a hell of a nice guy. I used to see him quite a bit down in, was it S4? Anyways, Anderson, Staff Sergeant Anderson, nice guy. Big, strong, muscular, smart, right? Jarhead. But it shook him up. You know, he's like, you can't leave. I was like, I fucking hate the bullshit and all this corruption, which did, by the way, get straightened out. But he says, yeah, the more of us that just leave and quit fighting, it makes the bad guys more powerful. Interesting guy. Anyways, I'll leave it at that. Mr. Uman, who's up next? We're past 2 hours. It's Blue Cord Devil, and he's back with another $50 super chat, and he's calling for peace and prayers and an 18-year scotch while we're at it. And I'm glad we didn't do as much scotch last night or tonight as I did last night, because I don't know if my liver would keep up. In any event, thank you, Blue Cord Devil. Semper Fi, brother. I would like to call for peace and prayers amongst all peoples, all tribes, all ethnicities, all races, all religions. Peace. Peace. I call for peace. No more harming each other. No more beating each other. No more robbing each other. No more stealing from individuals or from organizations or governments collectively. No more harming others. No more corrupting others and corrupting children and corrupting our systems. None of that. Blue Cord Devil says, John, Jolene, Uman, and everyone else, watch your 6. Stay calm, stay armed. We have to stay calm and stay armed and watch our 6, because the prayer I just called for, the peace between peoples and religions and a call for fairness and fair play and decency, it is only going to be adhered to by people who are good. Because those people that are evil, that believe they're superior or better or capable, or they won't get caught, or their God will forgive them for screwing other people over by choking a chicken. Right? They just don't care. They couldn't give a shit. In fact, if you act like a peace-loving person, they'll just take advantage of you. Big Dan the Man with a $20 super chat. He says, remember when you were like 10 years old? You didn't even know any political stuff. All you wanted to do is ride your bicycle and play sports. Those were the days. I miss those sane times. I do remember that. I do remember. I loved to play in 4th grade, 10 years old. Soccer. I was good at soccer. Kickball, football, played Little League baseball. That's all I cared about. Girls were kind of not even on the radar at that age yet. Right? That's it. It was easy. I'd come home from school and Mom would say, well, what'd you do today? I go, Mom, I scored 2 touchdowns, did an interception, and got an A and a B on my tests, right? Tell her about the school, but now all I want to do is play, goof around, have fun. It was easy. There was nothing to worry about. I wasn't worried about in the United States of America. In our American culture, with our American religion, our American laws, surrounded by Americans, I had nothing to fear. Now, I had Asians, both Chinese and Japanese, had Mexicans, blacks. Let's see, who else did we have? Whites, of course, some Native Americans. It was easy. I was afraid of anyone bigger than me. I was afraid of anyone who looked at me sideways. But still, all I had to do was run fast enough, and they laughed at it, and we were all good. I got bigger, and everyone, it was easy. It was great. These were sane times. I miss those because the problems were simple. Got into my older years in high school. Yeah, that's when the real beatings started. But yeah, 10 years old, man, that was a hell of a world, right? Watch Sandlot, movie Sandlot, about Americana. Great. It's coming up for Christmas here. Christmas Story. It's about Christian Christmas America. It's Americana. What really mattered to kids. That's innocence. Kids don't even, I don't know if kids have that anymore. They have to worry about getting their ass beat by someone of another race or another tribe or another part of town. If you don't dress correctly, you get your ass beat. You have to say the right pronouns, and you can't make fun of this person. Look out, that fucking person over there is going to rape you, literally. You got to bring a fucking knife to school. You got all these fucking people from foreign countries and their kids that hate you. It's incredible. What a terrifying world to live in as a kid. Well, my grandsons, hopefully they can grow up in something that's relatively similar, right, to what we had, but not a lot of hope for that. They're going to have to grow up and be fighters. Mr. Uman, are we done for the day? I think we're done. Let's see. I just want to just hack on it. Just tap on a couple little quick things, right? And I'll let you go. This Charlie Kirk thing is not going away. It's not going away. It's going to continue. The soap opera between Erica Kirk and conspiracy theories of Candace Owens is not going to go away. Erica Kirk attacked Candace Owens. Candace Owens fired back. Erica is being equated to a gold-digging, psyop, loveless mouthpiece for Israel. And Candace is being equated to a nut job who makes hundreds of thousands of dollars per episode by discussing her wild conspiracy theories about who killed Charlie Kirk. And there's one real victim in all of this. You know what it is? What dies in all of this is truth. Truth is being killed. Right? These sick people out here are still pushing their shit on our kids. There's a new children's book targeted ages 5 to 8, and it calls abortion a superpower, folks. I mean, does the book show a whore getting nailed by 5 slime bags without condoms? She gets knocked up and not knowing which one the baby will belong to, and she uses that as her justification and gains her superpower. Democrats are the party of death, folks. Abortion is a superpower. And finally, I'm going to end with this topic / subject. Big news headline. U.S. soldiers, Army soldiers, Americans are killed in what's being called an ISIS attack. And the Syrian security forces are implicated. So the terrorist leader of Syria, who was turned into a politician, invited to the White House, and Trump just lavished this guy with compliments and made him look like a legitimate world leader. This fucking terrorist is now a terrorist leader again, and Americans are getting killed in his country. Yep, kill the Americans, kill the soldiers, kill the Christians. That's the Middle East way. Thanks, more all these fucking moronic, warmongering neocons. Thanks, traitorous neocon Democrats. Thank you, traitorous neocon Republicans. And that is going to do it for the show. It is Sunday Night Live. Not my circus, not my clowns. Don't give a fuck, but why are we over there? America needs to get the hell out of there, and we need to clean up our own house. Hopefully we can do that. I want to thank everyone for the great support in the show. Thank you for supporting the desire, wish to spread facts, talk about what we think are facts, find out what the lies are. You can think for yourselves, come up with your own answers, conclusion, thoughts, but if no one's going to discuss these topics, how are we supposed to get there? Whether we're talking about Washington, D.C. or London, whether we're talking about Beijing, Tel Aviv, London, Brussels, right? How do you know? Unless we talk about these topics and talk about the people in charge and the things they're doing. That's what we do here. And above all else, get prepared with food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense with your plan and your world. Because when things go bad, as the police told me on the phone, you're on your own. Until tomorrow, Zero Dark 30. Have a good night, guys. Merry Christmas. God bless America.
Ho, 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 ho.